In the world of shinobi, the truth is often hidden in the shadows. Betrayal, sacrifice, and untold stories become part of a forgotten history. One of the most tragic tales is that of a man branded as a villain, betrayed by his village and hated by his own brother. Yet behind it all, he carried a burden greater than anyone could ever imagine. This is the untold story of a shinobi who sacrificed everything for peace. From a young age, Itachi Uchiha was no ordinary child. Born into the prestigious Uchiha clan, his extraordinary talent became apparent at an early stage. He mastered ninja techniques with ease, demonstrating intelligence and battle prowess that far surpassed his peers. By the age of 7, he had already witnessed the brutality of war, an experience that shaped his deep desire for peace. Itachi's father, Fugaku Uchiha, saw him as the key to the clan's future. As a result, immense expectations were placed upon his shoulders. He was pushed to excel, groomed to be the clan's ultimate warrior. While other children enjoyed a relatively carefree youth, Itachi spent his days training relentlessly, developing a maturity far beyond his years. But with genius came isolation. Few could truly understand his mindset or his ideals. Even among the Uchiha, who prided themselves on their power, Itachi was a league above. His sharp intellect and emotional detachment made him a mystery to those around him, someone admired yet feared. Beneath his calm and composed exterior, Itachi carried the weight of responsibility, both for his clan and for the village of Konoha. But as he grew older, he would come to learn a painful truth. The world was not as simple as he once believed, and the choices he would have to make would shape his tragic destiny. As Itachi grew older, tensions between the Uchiha clan and the Hidden Leaf village became impossible to ignore. The Uchiha, once one of Konoha's most powerful clans, had been placed under strict surveillance following the Nine Tails attack. Many within the clan believed they were being unfairly treated, viewed with suspicion rather than respect. The seeds of rebellion began to grow. The Uchiha, led by Fugaku, started plotting a coup d'etat to overthrow the village leadership. They felt it was time to reclaim their rightful place at the top. Itachi, who had recently been promoted to ANBU, found himself caught in the middle, torn between loyalty to his clan and his duty to Konoha. It was during this time that Itachi became disillusioned. He saw the potential devastation that an internal war could bring. If the coup proceeded, it would not just be a battle between the Uchiha and the Hokage. It would ignite a conflict that could destroy Konoha itself. Thousands of innocent lives would be lost in the chaos. Seeking guidance, Itachi turned to the one person who seemed to understand his pain, Shisui Uchiha, his closest friend and confidant. Unlike many others in the clan, Shisui shared Itachi's vision of peace. He believed there was a way to avoid bloodshed, but as the situation escalated, even Shisui's powerful genjutsu, the Kotoa Matsukami, was not enough to change the minds of the rebellious Uchiha. Itachi was left with an impossible choice. He could stand by his clan and fight against Konoha, risking countless lives in the process, or he could betray his own family to prevent a greater tragedy. And so, his descent into darkness truly began. As the Uchiha's rebellion neared its breaking point, Itachi and Shisui desperately searched for a way to prevent disaster. Shisui, possessing the powerful Kotoa Matsukami, planned to use his genjutsu on the clan's leaders to change their minds without violence. However, before he could act, the Uchiha elders grew suspicious of him. Danzo Shimura, a high-ranking Konoha official, saw Shisui's abilities as too dangerous to be left unchecked. In an act of treachery, Danzo ambushed Shisui and stole one of his Mangekyo Sharingan eyes, fearing that the Uchiha would manipulate the village's leadership. Weakened and betrayed, Shisui turned to Itachi one last time. Knowing his death could serve a greater purpose, he entrusted his remaining eye to his best friend and left him with a heartbreaking farewell. That night, Shisui Uchiha threw himself into the Naka River, disappearing forever. To the world, he was another casualty of the rising conflict. But to Itachi, it was a devastating loss. The one person who truly understood his pain was gone. Shisui's death pushed Itachi further into isolation. The Uchiha suspected him of being involved, further widening the gap between him and his clan. Meanwhile, Danzo and the village elders saw his loyalty as an opportunity. They offered him an unthinkable choice: to sacrifice his own family for the sake of peace. With no other way to prevent a full-scale war, Itachi's path was set. He would have to become a villain in the eyes of the world to protect it from destruction. With the Uchiha coup imminent, Itachi was forced to make the most painful decision of his life. The village elders, including Danzo, ordered him to eliminate his entire clan to prevent civil war. If he refused, the Uchiha would move forward with their rebellion, forcing Konoha to retaliate, leading to countless casualties on both sides. But there was one condition. Itachi pleaded for the life of his younger brother, Sasuke. No matter what happened, Sasuke had to be spared. Danzo agreed, seeing Sasuke as too young to pose a threat. Knowing there was no turning back, Itachi sought out an unlikely ally, Obito Uchiha, who had taken up the mantle of Madara Uchiha. Obito, harboring his own hatred for Konoha, agreed to assist in the massacre, using it as a means to strike fear into the village. Then came the fateful night. Under the moon's cold glow, Itachi moved like a shadow, eliminating his clan one by one. Warriors, elders, even children, none were spared. Despite his overwhelming strength, he felt no pride, only sorrow. Each strike was a betrayal to his own blood, yet he steeled himself, knowing that by sacrificing the few, he was saving the many. When the slaughter was over, only one remained, Sasuke. The younger brother he loved more than anything. When Sasuke returned home, he found his entire clan annihilated. His world shattered in an instant, and standing in the midst of the carnage was Itachi. Rather than revealing the truth, Itachi played the part of the villain. He tormented Sasuke with words of cruelty, pushing him toward hatred. He wanted Sasuke to grow strong, to one day seek revenge and kill him, so that he could die as the enemy of the Uchiha rather than the unsung hero of Konoha. As Sasuke collapsed in exhaustion, Itachi left the village, carrying the weight of his sins alone. He had saved Konoha, but at the cost of everything he held dear. After the Uchiha massacre, Itachi became a fugitive. Branded as a traitor and a murderer, he was forced to leave behind everything he had ever known. But his mission was not yet over. He had one final task: to protect Konoha from the shadows and ensure that Sasuke would one day become strong enough to take his revenge. To maintain his cover, Itachi joined the most dangerous criminal organization in the ninja world, the Akatsuki. This group of rogue shinobi sought power and destruction, making them the perfect hiding place for someone like Itachi. But unlike his fellow members, he had no interest in their ambitions. His true purpose was to monitor them from within and report any threats to Konoha in secret. Despite his reputation as a ruthless killer, Itachi remained deeply loyal to his village. He silently worked to prevent conflicts, feeding intelligence back to Konoha's leadership, and subtly influencing the Akatsuki's movements. But he could never return home. To the world, he was a villain. To Konoha, he was an enemy. And to Sasuke, he was the source of all his pain. Yet, Itachi never wavered in his devotion. Even as he carried out missions for the Akatsuki, he kept an eye on his younger brother from afar, watching him grow stronger with each passing day. He knew that Sasuke's hatred for him would one day lead them to their destined battle. But there was one thing Itachi had never anticipated. His time was running out. Unbeknownst to others, he was suffering from a terminal illness. His body was slowly failing him, and he knew he would not live long enough to see the world change. With death approaching, Itachi had only one goal left: to make sure that when the time came, Sasuke would be ready to end his suffering and inherit the truth of the Uchiha. As years passed, Sasuke grew stronger, fueled by his unrelenting hatred for Itachi. Every step he took, every battle he fought, was in pursuit of one goal: revenge. And finally, the time came for their long-awaited confrontation. Itachi, knowing his end was near, arranged for their battle to happen on his terms. He allowed Sasuke to track him down, leading him to their final battlefield. He had no intention of winning. Instead, he would give Sasuke the fight he had always desired and ensure that his brother would walk away victorious. The battle between the two Uchiha was nothing short of legendary. Sasuke unleashed all the power he had gained, pushing himself beyond his limits. Itachi, despite his illness, fought with precision and overwhelming strength. But unknown to Sasuke, Itachi was holding back. Every move he made was calculated to test Sasuke, to push him further, but never to truly harm him. As the battle reached its climax, Itachi activated his most powerful technique, Susanoo. Sasuke, exhausted and out of chakra, believed he had lost. But just as Itachi reached him, he did something unexpected. Instead of delivering a final blow, he gently poked Sasuke's forehead, just like he used to when they were children. With a faint smile, Itachi collapsed. His body, weakened by illness and exhaustion, finally gave out. He had achieved his goal. Sasuke had defeated him. And in doing so, he had freed Sasuke from the hatred that had consumed him for so long. But Sasuke did not yet know the truth. He did not know that Itachi had never been his enemy, that every action Itachi had taken was to protect him. And as his brother lay dead before him, Sasuke believed he had won, when in reality, he had lost the one person who had loved him more than anyone else. Sasuke believed he had achieved his revenge. He had slain the man responsible for his suffering, the brother who had massacred their entire clan. But fate had one final cruelty in store for him: the truth. After Itachi's death, Sasuke was approached by Obito Uchiha, who revealed the reality behind Itachi's actions. The truth shattered everything Sasuke thought he knew. Itachi had never been a villain. He had never sought power or personal gain. He had sacrificed everything: his clan, his name, and his own life, to protect Konoha and, most importantly, Sasuke. Itachi had carried the burden of being a murderer to prevent a civil war that would have destroyed the village. He had become a villain in Sasuke's eyes so that his younger brother could grow up free from the weight of the past. Every cruel word, every battle, every moment of suffering, it had all been for Sasuke's sake. Sasuke, overwhelmed by grief and anger, realized that he had killed the one person who had truly loved him unconditionally. The hatred that had fueled him for so long was now replaced with regret. The older brother he had despised had, in truth, been his greatest protector. Later, when resurrected through Edo Tensei, Itachi had one final chance to speak to Sasuke. In their last conversation, he made no excuses for his actions. He simply told Sasuke the truth. But most importantly, he reassured Sasuke that, no matter what, he had always loved him. And with that, Itachi disappeared once more, his soul finally at peace. Itachi Uchiha's life was one of sacrifice, pain, and tragedy. He was a man forced to bear the weight of impossible choices, a hero who was condemned as a villain. But in the end, his true legacy was not hatred or war. It was love. The love of an older brother who gave everything so his little brother could live. The truth of the shinobi world is never black and white. Itachi Uchiha's story is a reminder that true sacrifice often goes unnoticed, and the greatest heroes are sometimes seen as villains. His legacy is not one of hatred, but of love, duty, and the burden of impossible choices. What do you think of his tragic fate? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more deep dives into the world of Naruto. This is Hokage Insight, uncovering the hidden truths of the ninja world. Until next time, stay sharp, shinobi.